back by Evie Brown. Magic again.
Detifo takes the handbrake off.
A decent chance here for Bristol Bears for the Trice. They're over.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of All In this season, and we're building up to that all-important Allianz Premier15s final. Joining me, Gloucester Hartbury and England scrum half Mo Hunt and former England and London Irish winger Topsy Ojo. They'll be drawing on their vast experience to summarise the last 8 months or so, and of course look ahead to that final between Saracens and Exeter Chiefs. I think it's fair to say this has been the best Premier 15 season we've seen so far. What are your thoughts on it, guys?
Yeah, 100%. For me, it's surpassed all expectations. I think the intensity, the physicality that the girls are putting in, week out, is just amazing. Like, personally playing in it, it's brutal, and it just keeps getting better and better every time we're out there. Not only that, but just the amount of people that care about it now. Like, we've got crowds coming in, there's 5,000 down in Sandy Park. We've got people that really are taking added interest in what we're doing. And I think that for me has been a massive turning point as well in the league, and something so special and something like brilliant to be part of.
Yeah, it's been class, hasn't it? Been a great season. And talking on the crowd, you know, taking the game to new stadium as well, that growth has been massive. You know, we've got Chiefs playing at Sandy Park, Lightning went to Franklin's Gardens, Northampton. You know, you've got big game. Wasp Quins at Twickenham as well. Gloucester Hartbury been to Kingsholm. So taking the game to these newer, bigger stadiums so that wider audiences can see it has been huge. And actually the level of competition as well. I think at this stage, not that long ago, there were like 7 teams that could have got into that top 4. Obviously, we now have our final 2, but just to see the growth in that aspect as well has been huge. It's been great to watch. It's been great to witness. It's been nice watching it from the sidelines and letting Mo take all the batterings and, you know, trying to recover and go again week after week. It's what we want to see, and we've got a great final to look forward to as well.
We do indeed. We've got the all-important trophy here. I think, Mo, this is the closest you'll get this season at least.
Brutal.
Wow, good.
Moving on. Coming up on today's show, Rosie Gallagher, an incredible story of resilience, from international to contemplating amputation and back to playing for England. Athletes and body image. Wasps' Ellie Boatman talks openly about the challenges women face in sport. And we prepare for that final between Saracens and Exeter Chiefs by analysing and digesting their stats. But first up, let's take a look at how rounds 12 to 18 played out.
Courtney Keat. Little chip over the top. It's a great chip as well. Keat gathers her own. Oh, this could be fantastic from Courtney Keat. She checks inside when all she had to do was keep the pedal to the metal, and Jenny Hesketh puts the icing on the cake. Oh, what a take that is. Crab. Well, they have gone up the blind side. Connie Powell goes straight over the tackler, and Gloucester Hartbury back in the game. Scrum has gone very well. You've got Kate Jackerin running into space here. She spotted room inside Tatiana Hurd. Oh, she's got round Emma Singh as well. What an individual effort from Kate Jackerin.
Aitchison there for Virbass. Aitchison trying to step away through, gives it off to Vicky Fleetwood. Big handoff from Vicky Fleetwood. Driving, pumping, Vicky Fleetwood to the line.
It's a direct line from Cabella. Cabella stays on her feet. Cynthia Cabella is in the booth. She has got the try.
Reed gives it short. That's a great line from Murray. Still going the outside centre. Great score from Phoebe Murray.
Gets the ball away. Now Weaver. Matatonga. Second try for Lightning. Kick to chase. It's Connie Powell trying to get there. Ellie Underwood trying to get there, but Rowland will get there first, or will she? It's fumbled by Rowland. It's touchdown by Underwood.
Scott to the far side. Cow one-on-one against Dow. What a step from Heather Cow. She's put the afterburners on. What a break from the Harlequins winger. Running towards the sticks. One-on-one against Abby Dow. Muir now in space. Hit by Beckett. 9. Wasps spreading the play. Abby Dow coming in. Great step from Abby Dow. Looking for the bonus point score. And Wasps are in again.
But that is a nice ball out to the left side, and look at the run here from Detivo. Can she go all the way? Janine Detivo! There's a roll offside. It's a long one for Sinclair, who steps back in powerfully, and Ailey Sinclair is being pointed to the line, but what a huge tackle!
To the ground. Rowland with the dummy. Gets through the gap. Helena Rowland, Scarrett on her outside. Steps again. Magical from Helena Rowland. Simply one of the best running fly halves around. And the Lightning number 10 with another special try.
Well, some brilliant action over the last few rounds. Mo, Topsy, what stood out for you both?
I think Topsy mentioned it at the top, but for me, just the competitiveness of the games. Obviously, you've got Loughborough beating Harlequins when they're going for that top 4 spot. That's like mixed it up. I think so many of these games, you just don't know who's going to win. There's been some massive results across the rounds. The intensity, the internationals on show. I think it's amazing how many people we've got coming to the country now to play. Like, I know we're looking at Exeter quite often about how many people are down there, but it's brilliant that people want to be part of this league. And the intensity, like the level that is being shown week in, week out, the skill set, just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the word, the skill set. I mean, you look at those highlights there, those tries, and like, they're all in from 50, 60 metres, the handling, the acceleration, team tries, individual tries as well. I mean, the Helena Rowland finish was just class, but actually that's the level we've got to now. So you could take your pick from each and every game that's there. There's 2 or 3 standout tries. You go, right, that's a highlight reel finish. And that's been great. You know, that's been my standout. A bit of outside back bias there, but I love to see those kind of worldy tries.
Some of the wingers that we've got in this league, like Ellie Boatman, how she finishes tries, Ellie Underwood, like Abby Dow, like unbelievable. Like, they shouldn't get through how they get through, and just their ability to find the way to the try line. I think we're so blessed in this country.
We like the forwards tries as well, of course. There's still a place for the rolling
You're
ball.
too biased with 2
okay.
backs here. Talking of forwards, Harlequins' Rosie Gallagher has been a colossus for club and country, one of the players of the season. But in between England caps, she's faced a life-threatening battle with meningitis and an injury that could have ended her career.
Exciting.
Then the straight line coming through. That's a great line as well.
Memorable.
England are the winners of the Six Nations.
Resilient. I think this season has probably been my best season that I've had playing rugby. I've changed my mentality a lot. I've said to myself, I want to play rugby with a smile on my face. Hopefully it only goes and gets better from now on. I had meningitis in September 2019. It was actually a Friday evening, just before we were meant to play Richmond, and I just went really heavy. A few hours later, I was vomiting and unable to walk. My body had never been so sore. I just remember saying to the paramedics, this is the worst pain I've ever felt. All of a sudden I was quarantined in my own little ward for the next 10 days. They said if I came in a day later, I could have lost my legs. Going from being a really fit, young rugby player to not even being able to do day-to-day tasks, that's probably when I felt at my worst. It was a scary experience. I made my comeback just before Christmas. In January, I was dropped in a line out and I broke my ankle. Completely shattered it. They said that it was basically like a break that they'd never seen before. A lot of people said that I'd never play rugby again. And that was kind of the moment of realisation where I probably wasn't fully healthy. Like, I was match fit, I could play a game of rugby, but was I actually recovering? That was a crazy journey because it was all through COVID. All of my rehab was done by myself in the garden. The biggest day I probably remember is having a tree trunk log and having to jump off that. And it probably took me about half an hour just to do a little jump. That for me was like a big achievement. I had my mum and dad like cheering me on in the garden. I'm so grateful for what they did and for what Saracens did to help me get back on the pitch. It was never in my mind to give up. I don't think that's in me to just give up. That's where I then realised, okay, I think I need a bit of a change for myself, and started having a conversation with Gerard at Harlequins. S&C was a massive thing for me. Just being able to have a really open relationship with Merrick and Sam, who have transformed me into an athlete rather than just someone that can play rugby. I think that's what I love about Harlequins so much, is that everyone in the club wants you to be as good a player as you are as a person. It's not just about developing as a rugby player. I need to actually work for this and get back to being better than I was before. There was part of me that went silent about playing for England for a while. I didn't know if it was in reach. The only way you get opportunities is by working hard. Going into England camp, I have nothing to lose, so I just wanted to go out there and prove both to myself and to everyone else how far I've come. Being involved in a whole Six Nations campaign, I wouldn't have expected that whatsoever. I don't think anybody expected it whatsoever. I know that I've still got a lot to learn. I know that I've still got a lot of growth. I still know that there's a lot of incredible players in front of me. I now look to the future of like 2025 World Cup and think I want to make my mark on that World Cup. So there's been a lot of change, but it's only been change that's made me a better person, both on and off the pitch. So I'm very happy where I am 4 years later. Yeah, it feels good.
Well, what a character and what a story. Mo, you play against Rosie at club level, with her for England as well. What are your thoughts on her as a player and as a person? Yeah,
I think I'd massively echo what she said in the VT. Like, this is definitely her best season for me. I think she's really come into her own. You can see that she's really enjoying it. Down at club, she was enjoying it in England camp as well. And to anybody that plays with a smile on their face, I think everyone plays your best rugby. Like, you bring out a different side to you when you just relax and enjoying it. And you can see that with how she's gone this season. So it's brilliant to hear. I think I love the fact that we showcase stories like this, because I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that till I was in camp with her. And I think for the wider world as well, it's just amazing what she's gone through and to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And Topsy, resilience almost seems an understatement, doesn't it, when you listen to her story? Just how resilient must she have been?
Hugely. And I think it's maybe something that gets, like you said, overlooked, maybe underestimated, because you almost think of it as a given in professional sport, but actually I guess we're accustomed to injury in sport, but when it's something more life-threatening, where you have to really reassess, you know, what's important to you, what you want to achieve. And I think for Rosie to say, right, you know, I want this, I'm going to fight to get back, to get injured again, and then to come back again, like that is kind of the definition of resilience. And to now be at what the level she's at, performing week in, week out, changed environment, knew she needed a fresh start, but to go out and get that and now to be flourishing for club and country is huge. And you know, I think there's a story in that, not just in sport, in rugby, but life as well. You know, I think it's never ever easy, but actually you work, you get your rewards, and you get to enjoy what you do. And as Mo said, having that smile on your face, knowing that you've achieved it and you're doing it, and there's still so much more to come. You know, I know she said this World Cup might be too soon, but the next one, 2025 in England, could be a huge carrot. So why wouldn't you go after that? So no, credit to her, fantastic.
Absolutely, and as Mo said, it's great to see these stories being showcased and taking us behind the scenes of the women's scene. No doubt we'll see much more of Rosie in years to come. Now, Wasps' Ellie Boatman has had quite the season as well, the second highest try scorer in the AP15s, and an England Sevens debut to boot as well. But off the pitch, she's been challenging the perception of female athletes' body image.
I started playing rugby at Camberley Rugby Club. I didn't really notice that I was one of the only girls. When you're really young, the boys don't really care, so I just sort of got stuck in and didn't really think anything of it. It wasn't until I got a little bit older, probably more like 10, 11, that I noticed comments about being a girl. It wasn't just the kids, sometimes it'd be the parents. As a young female, growing up in your teenage years, you're just surrounded by diets and fat loss and everything, and it's so easy to get consumed into that. I just thought my own image was being this really fit, lean girl, and that kind of became my identity, and it can become really obsessive. When it was at its worst, I probably thought about my body every single day. I would obsessively track calories, obsessively look in the mirror, scale weight. Like, it wasn't a healthy way of living and it wasn't a happy way of living. A lot of the people around you don't care about how much you weigh, they just want you to be happy, and it took me a while to realise that. Body image is a huge issue. When you look at social media and comments and things, a lot of people will comment on how a woman looks. I think it's a really taboo subject, to be honest, which is why I'm trying to be more open about it nowadays. I decided to speak out on social media about my own personal struggles with body image, just from my own conversations that I had with friends in and outside of sport, and actually how common it is. You don't realise how much what you're saying and what you're doing has an impact. If I could perhaps help someone by speaking about my own struggles with body image, could somebody benefit from that? So if they see you being positive about what you're eating and wanting to be strong and wanting to be fit, then they're more likely to want to do that. Seeing young girls pick up a ball, turn up to our games, like, it's huge for me. I have my own personal little super fan called Livy. She comes along to a lot of our games. It's so special for her, and it's so special for us to see that new generation coming through. It's still an ongoing thing for me, to be honest. It's not perfect to have my up and down days with it. I'm a professional rugby player now. It's my job to be healthy, to be strong, and that's how I use it as my mindset when I go into the gym or when I eat my food. It's how am I going to fuel myself for my sessions, and how is this going to help me as an athlete, and not just about how I look now. It's a performance mindset.
Boatman now round the outside, Ellie Boatman, the winger in form, gasses round the outside. A player who just cannot stop scoring at the moment, Ellie Boatman.
This year's been an amazing season for me personally, for the club as well. So many huge things have happened. Personally got to score a try at Twickenham, which I never thought I'd do.
Boatman! Ellie Boatman has squeezed it! We said they needed something, and they've got it at Wasps.
I was lucky enough to go to Dubai for GB Sevens, and after I came back I was made aware that I'd be receiving an England Sevens contract in January, which has been incredible. My immediate hopes and aspirations at club level, winning the Premier15s would be such an amazing achievement. Paris 2024 is a huge goal of mine. I think it's the ultimate dream as an athlete to go to the Olympics. Who knows what the future holds.
Really powerful stuff there from Ellie. Mo, I'm sure you've got many thoughts on this. I think I, as a woman working in sport, feel that pressure as well to look a certain way. You worry if you feel you've put on weight, and you do get those negative comments, deeply personal, mean, nasty comments on social media. It's kind of part and parcel of the job now. What are your thoughts on body image as a whole for women, for an athlete certainly as well, and what Ellie was saying?
I think, like, first of all, it shouldn't be part and parcel of a job, like, just to knock that out there. It really shouldn't be. Like, I think a lot of the time social media makes it very easy for people to comment on things that quite often they don't know a lot about, they know very little about, and it's amazing that we're talking about it more. I think body positivity, you don't really get it as much in rugby because I think it literally is a sport for all shapes and sizes, but alongside that you have like some of the girls who have put on weight because they need to for their performance element. They then struggle when they go into like normal clothes after and stuff like that. So you do get both sides of it. I think it's so important that we have discussions like this, that we talk about it, that we open up those paths, and that people feel like they can open up about it. And people putting comments on social media, you'll probably get hundreds of really nice stuff and you'll get that one comment, and that's the thing that will knock you. So just do your best to not let it, to just read all of the good stuff, and anyone writing bad stuff, just stop. Like, at the end of the day, just stop it.
That's it. Social media can be such a negative place, but also such a positive place. And Ellie certainly has spoken out on social media and really started to create that conversation. Topsy, for you, what can be done to tackle this kind of prejudice?
I'd say the first thing is just listening and learning. Like, even me just sat here listening to you guys talk about it, you know, stuff that I don't have to go through as a man, you know, it's shocking, you know, and like you said, those comments shouldn't be part of commonplace. It shouldn't be part of sport, shouldn't be part of society, but maybe social media is just giving people that power. It's ignorant, it's ill-informed, but that feeling that, oh, you know, I can throw a comment out and why not? Because I can hide behind this cloak of invisibility. But I think kind of how we fight that, how we tackle that is speaking about it as we are. I think also championing kind of positive body images as well, and celebrating the fact that, especially within rugby, shape for all, different shapes, different sizes. We need to be big, we need to be strong, we need to be fast, quick, agile. And with that comes training. it comes getting your body in tune to a certain shape so that you can do the job at hand. And I think the more we can celebrate that, the more we can talk about it openly, as Ellie has done, as others have done, you kind of encourage others to say that, right, okay, I'm all right as I am. I'm good, I'm better than good, and I'm going to keep going down this path because it makes me happy, and get to a point whereby that one negative comment doesn't outweigh the thousands and thousands. So I think the more we can rally around each other, celebrate each other, pick each other up, support each other, I think that's the way we kind of nullify any kind of prejudice.
Very inspiring words, Topsy, and I think it's worth remembering sport is about what you are capable of and what your body can do, and not necessarily what it looks like. Still work to be done, but great to see players like Ellie stepping up and tackling the issue head on. Looking ahead, there will be a new Allianz Premier15s champion crowned. Let's take a look at how the semi-finals played out.
In a rivalry that stretches across both the men's and women's team, it is the league leaders against the reigning champions. This is where Saracens, so dangerous, so many powerful carriers, and one of those is Poppy Cleal. And what a sniper's effort that is from close range. It's to McKenna out to the right-hand side, looping over the top is Corrigan, the winger in form, steps inside breach, back inside to McKenna. Good hands from the Canadian. Vivas now, short to Marley Packer, runs up against Beckett, spins, goes again, brilliant from Packer. What a score from the Saracens, number 8. Deeper now with Burford, looking to be distributed. Space for Amy Cockayne, out to Jess Breach. There are the points for Harlequins. Well taken from Saris. Great drive round the fringes. Campbell getting in behind. Packer to the left-hand side, placing it down. Goes again to Saracens. It's that player again, Poppy Cleal from close range. Twins looking to end their season on a high. It'll be the final few minutes of their 2021-22 campaign.
19, get out now, you change.
Stick with this play.
No, didn't stay inside.
And then head towards Mo, but Quins are coming forward, looking for this consolation. At the back through Amy Cockayne, and they have the try. Ellie Green with the nudge through, trying to create something. That'll be run out by Sarah McKenna. Final play of the game as Saracens head to that 4th final in a row. They've beaten Harlequins, they've won the London Derby, they have knocked out the champions, and it is Saracens heading to Sixways.
"80 minutes standing between these two sides, and the next chapter in their stories, a first-time place in an Allianz Premier15s final. But Bristol seeming a little short of numbers there.
It now!
Close quarters again from the Bears, and they're over. Hope Rogers, I think. Exeter Chiefs.
Ball!
1 try on the board. They've got the best attack in the league.
Penalty advantage, white 6, side entry.
It's already a penalty advantage being played against Simi Pam. Exeter Chiefs aren't going to hang around too long. Driving this upfield. Looking very ominous for Bristol Bears once more. Exeter Chiefs score their 100th try of the season. Bristol have got the penalty advantage as well.
No, let go now!
It's there with West. It's still moving ever closer to that line. Bristol Bears are over. Now there's so much width here. Reed can feed it away from Murray. The one who gave them the position on the field is the one who finishes with the try. It's going to be Ward at the front. Bristol Bears look to keep it as simple as they can. And here come Reed and Murray to add their weight again. It's under the arm of Hannah West. Bears creeping towards the line. Are they going to destroy Exeter Chiefs' hearts by playing Exeter Chiefs style rugby? Yes, they are. Bristol Bears take the lead in the match for the first time. Can the Bears defend this? Now they're told to use it. Robinson goes, Detivo, one-on-one to score! It had to be! And look at the face of Susie Appleby. And Hesketh outside her. Has that just gone to ground? Indeed it has! Exeter Chiefs are in the Allianz Premier15s final. What a semi-final we've been treated to. And now a chance to go toe-to-toe with Saracens in the final.
Well, that was Saracens doing what Saracens do best, and Exeter Chiefs making a final for the first time in their club's history. Mo is with our analyst Ross Hamilton to understand where the semis were won and lost and to look ahead to the final.
Well, we analysed the semi-finals and are taking a look ahead to the finals. Mo, the two best teams in the competition for you this season?
For me, I think so. You look at points for both at the top of their game. They've both won the most amount of games this season. So yeah, probably the right two people are there. Absolutely,
yes. Well, we start with Saracens and having a look at how they got themselves to the final. Now, Saracens are very happy to play without the ball. They actually only had 35% possession. And what I wanted to show is what that means in terms of possession time. Less than 11 minutes ball in hand Saracens had in the game, and yet they scored 30 points. Mo, so would they have trained for that with that little possession time?
Yeah, I think so. Potentially don't realise how little that time is. I think that they'll be quite shocked to see that stat as well. But as you can see, they kick the most in the league. So a lot of their possession comes from just trying to play in the right areas. So they put boot to ball, they go nice and long, and they get after it with their kick chase. So Lottie Clapp for me was exceptional in that semi-final, just how she closed down space, chopped them down, and then they managed to regain the ball. So they're always looking to play in the 22. When they get there, they're so dangerous.
Great, absolutely. And then when they do get the ball, they are very deadly with it. And we move on to some of their attack stats. So you mentioned this, we were talking about how physical the game has become here. And Saracens here in the game, 75% gain line success, 47% collision dominance. Now, just to mention what that means as well is that is an over the gain line carry, not just something that gets stopped before. And a collision dominance is where you manipulate the contact areas that you go forward as well. And those numbers are so extreme, 3 and 4 times that Saracens get over the gain line in their carries. I mean, that's phenomenal kind of stats.
That's crazy. I think also nearly 50% tackle dominance. So every time as a team you're carrying in, you're being knocked back 1 and 2. Like, that's mental. There's no way that you can play against teams like that. I think this is so appropriate to how they play. Their forwards are massive. As a 9, I'd love to be on their team behind a pack that does that, because it's just an armchair ride. There's no way that you can compete at breakdowns to slow that ball down. So everything's just a knock-on effect, and you just continue that momentum, which is how Saracens do play.
Right, and exactly that, and it links into their ruck speed. So they didn't actually have that many rucks to play with, but the average ruck speed was 3 seconds. And I know that's a very small amount of margin, 0.3 seconds difference, but 0.3 seconds faster at every single ruck does make a difference at the end. And the final one on the end there, percentage quick ball, is the percentage of rucks they had under 2 seconds. So again, 1 in 3 times their ruck is away less than 2 seconds. And again, as an armchair ride for a 9, that's the kind of ball you want to play with, right?
Yeah, exactly. It just makes everything so much easier. If there's no time for the defence to set, you just ball away, and it just means you have so much more time to pick options, play on defenders, sit people down, and yeah, it makes the game so much easier.
Definitely. All of those together, if you can piece both of those together, it creates you opportunities. Opportunities in the opposition 22 or the red zone. And Saracens didn't actually have as many as Harlequins, but their efficiency, their points per entry were incredible. Just to give this a bit of context, these two teams were dead even, second best in the competition this season at 2.26 points per entry, which is our red zone efficiency. But in the semi-final, Saracens were able to improve that to 3, and Harlequins dropped off to 0.83 with a try at the very end when the game was done, really. But that kind of efficiency from Saracens is their game plan.
It is, and this is why I talk about Saracens knowing and finding a way to win, because when it matters, when it's like the most important semi-final, in finals, they do this, they increase, they improve, and it's just so difficult to defend against.
So Saracens have a line out in the opposition 22, and it actually gets a little bit scrappy. So May Campbell does very well here to react and get a carry over the gain line. She actually makes 9 metres off of the back of this carry. So well reacted there, does a great job, very good carry in the first instance.
Yeah, and you think for all money at the moment, Harlequins are going to come up with this ball, because as an isolated attacker in the 22, real danger play, but brilliant clear out to keep momentum.
Marnie Packer for me here does such a good job. Recognises she's actually the 4th player into that ruck, but 2.7 seconds gets them on the front foot again.
Yeah, and everything about this is going forward, the momentum to the line. You see what this does to the defenders. So Harlequins have actually got 4 on the blind side, marking no one really, but they don't have chance to get around. Amelia Harper here, a little bit out of it. Poppy Cleo doesn't even allow the ball to be presented. She just goes in straight away over. Everyone expects her to just secure that ball, but too quick thinking for her.
Super efficient, super fast, no chance for the defence whatsoever to react, and a fantastic try for Saracens there. Okay, so moving on to Exeter Chiefs and how they like to play. They actually want the ball in play a lot. Both of these teams do. Saracens actually the first and Exeter second, but then Exeter average the most amount of carries per game, 20 more in fact than Saracens in second place. But what we saw in the semi-final was that Bristol really dominated this. Ball in play was even higher than Exeter or Saracens average, but then Bristol had the majority of the possession. 28 minutes, 41 seconds possession time and 176 carries to just Exeter's 80. A huge defensive effort from Exeter, right?
Yeah, that's mad. I think the stat coming out was that Exeter made over 300 tackles and 3 of their players made over 30 tackles each, which is just crazy to think of. They would have had to have some serious ice baths and downtime after that.
100%. A huge defensive effort from Exeter, and they average very good tackle success for the season, 3rd best in the competition. But what's vital for them is how many times they get 2 players into the contact area. The most in the league, just marginally better than yourselves, Mo. So why is this important? Why are 2-player tackles so important?
It helps with that collision dominance that we were talking about, that tackle dominance. So you manage to stop people on gain line. That second person in also, they're the one that add the force to drive them back the other way. It gives your defensive line time to set. Depending on how you do it, it gives you time to get back to feet, to be able to contest that breakdown as well, which we don't see a lot from Exeter, but it is something that is used across the board. And yeah, it makes it really difficult because there's no real options if 2 people are closing you down the whole time.
Maybe something that they can employ to stop that gain line success and collision dominance that we showed from Saracens. So we've got the clip here. Now, this is just one example. Exeter had to defend multiple phases where they went multiple possessions back to back. And this example from a kick chase, just to show the first line, this is where the gain line started. So this is where the first point of contact was, and this is where Exeter start defending from. Very good again, 2 players in that tackle straight away.
What they do so well as well is they hold players up. They just make it really difficult to get to floor, which gives this line time to set.
The big one for me here was even though Bristol got gain line success, Exeter didn't commit any players and can still manufacture their structure outside of that to be able to deal with the next threats.
Yeah, absolutely. You just see everyone knows who they're on. They're working in numbers. Here you see a counter coming on. That's the time that it's taken from the initial contact to the ball being able to be played away, 7 seconds.
And that just gives your defence so much time to get set, to mark up, to get prepared and organised for the next phase, right?
Yeah, here you see as well, double tackle. So one's gone low, one's gone leg chop. The other, Dalika Menin's come in. She's gone high. She's tried to hit and come through that.
And this is that example of when you slow that ruck down, you can get everybody set. They're coming up straight line, marked up, and they know who they're going to go and tackle, and then a huge hit from Catherine Zachary there.
Brilliant hit, wasn't it? That's
Brilliant.
absolute textbook.
That's the kind of defence that we're talking about. 2 players can control the situation. We cut this towards the end. This was 10 phases that this possession went on for, and you can see here that Bristol only made 6 metres in 10 phases of play. Yes, they got a penalty at the end of it, but it was just one example of how Exeter were able to stop and hold out Bristol so well.
They don't commit at that breakdown. They leave space so that tackler can come up straight away, jump into the guard position, and then as a line, they just know who they're on. They're coming up. It's the intent to keep going and keep chasing those feet. And as you mentioned, double hits coming in, no option in attack to send those offloads because there's people all around you. They're very, very good at it.
So we saw that Exeter don't have much possession, but when they got into the red zone, they took their chances really well. Just 7 entries compared to Bristol's 11, but took more points from them. That also includes 3 possessions in the first 20 minutes where they converted every single time. 3 fantastic conversions from Gabby Cantona for 100% success rate and 7 points per entry.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Top percentage kicker in the league, and that is definitely somebody you want on your team going into a final.
Fantastic. 2 great teams, 2 very physical teams, going to take their chances when they get to a great contest coming up.
Thank you very much indeed, Ross. We are all set for the Allianz Premier15s final, and it's going to be an intriguing encounter, isn't it? Saracens looking for a 3rd title in just 4 years, and Exeter Chiefs, well, they are looking to complete the double. An incredible achievement for Susie Appleby's team that did not exist 3 years ago. Topsy, what can we expect from this final?
tough to maybe put a word around it. There's going to be loads of stuff, but the one that jumps out to me is physicality. I think it's just going to be such a physical contest. You've got two very powerful sets of forwards going head to head, and I think that battle on the gain line, that battle for territory, is going to go a long way to deciding who wins the game. Maybe a bit of animosity, a bit of a rivalry brewing between the two, I don't know, maybe based on the last couple of games, but look, it's the two best teams in the country going head to head. Friday afternoon, no better place to be, so can't wait to see who comes out on top.
And Mo, Exeter have beaten Saracens, but they are such a force, aren't they? How can they beat them again in this big game?
They just need to take their opportunities. Exeter needs every opportunity they get at points, they need to make sure they're coming away with them. I don't know how you do it. I don't think anyone's worked it out, but they also need to try their best to quieten down Poppy Cleal and Marley Packer as well. Yeah. But again, I don't know how you do it, because at the minute those two really are top of their game, and I think they were missing last time out, which is why Exeter ran riot and put those points on. They make such a difference. So if they can quiet them down, if they can get in their heads, I think they stand a much better chance. But yeah, Saracens are going to be a real force to be reckoned with.
I'm going to put you both on the spot now. A prediction, please.
Oh, classic. I'm going to go Chiefs. I'm going to go Chiefs. I know, bold. Sorry. But I think momentum is with them. I think they're in a good space. You know, they understand the rugby they're trying to play. They're well drilled. Yes, I know Saracens were missing players in the last fixture, but that confidence of knowing that, you know, they've got a few tactics up their sleeve that can help them get to victory. I think they're good for the win.
Mo?
Yeah, do you know what? I would have gone Chiefs as well, but off the back of the semi-finals and how both teams played, I'm actually going to go Saracens. I just think, like I mentioned, they just know how to win. They find a way. They've got real leaders in there that they just get everyone on the same page and on the same board, and they really work with the momentum of the game for me. So yeah, I can't look past them.
Laura, deciding vote?
Wow, we're split down. We've just run out of time. Well, it's got the makings of a classic, hasn't it? And over the long bank holiday weekend as well, I'm going to go Chiefs, I reckon. I'm saying Chiefs, but there we go. Yes, it's going to be a brilliant final. That's it for this final episode this season of All In. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Topsy, for your world-class analysis and insight. Thanks to Ross Hamilton as well. This is going to be some final, isn't it? And you can watch on BBC Sport, BT Sport, and it's streamed free and worldwide on the Premier15s website as well. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. at Sixways in Worcester, and stay up to date with all things AP15s on social media as well. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the final, and we'll see you soon.